Good glorious morning, everyone. I hope that you are doing well. It's time for tea with Reverend Glory. I'm still working on it. Every other day I can have a little coffee, and I'm beginning to get to where I don't think I really want it. So it's working. All right. Today I want to pick up where I left off a few days ago when I was talking about relationships. Relationships are very important. You know, we have relationships with the way we start our morning. I have a relationship with this coffee. This little, and I've got tea in here, but this says, it has a picture on here that says before coffee, and it shows a secretary with her desk all a mess and nothing is working, and her boss picture hanging on the wall is mad at her, and then it says after coffee, and she's got everything organized, everybody's happy, and everything's going on. So, relationship. When we've got everything together in our lives, okay, after coffee, maybe after love, maybe after prayer, maybe after brushing our teeth, combing our hair, and putting on our makeup, and looking in the mirror and thinking, this is good, okay? But what about relationships after an argument with your significant other, your loved one, your child, your boss? What happens in relationships after that? Because we don't really get the opportunity to just say, okay, that was an argument with the boss, and not bring it home, or not bring it into the supermarket, or not bring it into our countenance as we're going through the day. Relationships. Relationships are a lot like the law of cause and effect. And so when we're feeling particularly loved, good, happy, these emotions flow over into our relationships. By the same time, by the same token, if our relationships are bringing us love, joy, happiness, okay, smiley faces, kisses, those wonderful things, we carry that into other relationships. So where do we feel that we have control? I wish I could let you tell me. But right now I'm going to let Spirit tell me. How do we control relationships? It's not about making another person change the way they feel about something or see something or their perspective of something. We can definitely be an instrument of inspiration, perhaps, for them. But we don't get to change that. We can't just walk up to a person and find that button and flip it over to another channel. Although sometimes I think we do. You had that person that can push your buttons and you're on another channel? Yeah. Relationships. What part of it can we control? What part of it do we control? What part of it do we want to control? And what does control have to do with anything? Okay? Spirit says give you one button. And this is the button you push. This is the button that you use. This is your control mechanism. And you only get one. You've got one button, folks. In all of your relationships. Cause and effect. Something that happens and your response. Create what's happening from within with love. You've got that love control right in here. All of us do. Someone pushes your buttons. They only get to turn on love. Love is the button that's going to help you see, first of all, a little bit deeper than what's really going on. You ever watched a TV show and, of course, the actor or the actress's face is just like right in the camera. They might even zoom in. But have you ever looked just beyond that person and there might be a credenza behind them with a beautiful, beautiful bouquet of flowers, or seeing the whole picture, okay? Not just what the actor is doing or saying, but seeing what's in the background, okay? When you respond in your relationships by activating that control mechanism of love, you get to see the whole picture. And sometimes you get to change the whole picture. You might be able to zoom in on what's really going on. Let's have a scenario. Let's say, for instance, you're a teacher and a student comes in. He's really disheveled. He seems really angry. He's just in a bad mood all day. You can hardly get him to cooperate with anything. Little Johnny, let's call him Little Johnny. Little Johnny is oh my today. And you've got 15 other children to deal with as well. You want to look at the whole picture, but little Johnny has everybody's attention focusing mostly on him. You wind up pulling little Johnny to the side and saying, you're either going to sit down and be quiet and participate in class, or I'm going to send you to the principal's office. Okay? Now, it might take a little bit of time to discover what's going on because you've got so many other things going on in the background. But at some point during the day, you get a chance to interact with little Johnny in a loving manner. And little Johnny breaks down, starts crying. Maybe you say, Johnny, you came in this morning, you're really, really having a bad day. You seem angry. What's the matter? What are you angry about? Maybe he throws a book across the room. Maybe he has a little bit of a fit. You sit there and you watch in love. Okay? And you interject maybe one more time and say, okay, we got that out of the way. What's really going on with you? You got all of these emotions. And what I really want to do is help you. When you're showing that love, okay, when you maybe even reach out and touch his shoulder, okay, or pat him on the back, maybe you'll say something like, I know you're doing the best that you can today, but I'm here to help you. When you allow that love from you to come and flow with the warmth, then little Johnny might even break down and say something terrible that was going on in his life all night. You don't know really where he lives, okay, or what his parental situation is. Maybe his little sister was sick or got hit by a car, or so many other things could be going on in the background. But you won't get that response until you touch Johnny with your little control focused on love. So I want to go a lot deeper, because here's the other thing. I hear people talking about the devil and the enemy, or the evil that is all around me, negativity. And I'm not saying that these things don't exist. I'm not trying to change your perception on any of that. What I am trying to give you is the control device, okay? If you feel that the devil or the opposition is coming against you, you feel a dark energy, you feel negativity, there might need to be some cleansing in the process. There's lots of things to do. But the first thing that you can ever do is recognize who you are from the inside and bring forth your control mechanism of love. I have opportunities where I can feel negative spirits, or I'll maybe say dark energy. The most common one is spirits, and I tell them right away, okay, if you're not here for my highest good or the highest good of anyone involved in my life, you are dismissed. Because the only thing that you're going to get here is love. So if you want to come into the love, then fine. We can have disclosure, we can have whatever relationship you need, I'll help you. How can I help you? But if you're not here for the highest good of everyone involved, everyone that comes in contact with me, you're only going to find love. If you're ready for some loving, okay? Whether you're spirit, whether you're flesh, whether you're animal, whether you're human, that's all I got. I am love and light. I am covered, I am oozing, I am filled up inside with love and light. And those aren't just words, but those are very powerful words. Okay? Faith comes by hearing, hearing by the word. So when you get up every morning, when you go to bed every night, confess, I am love. I am the love of God manifested in the flesh. And that is all Spirit has to give you. Because perfect love casts out fear. And if perfect love casts out fear, then where is fear? No longer exists. Now some people might say, right outside the door where you just put him. Sitting right next to you in the church house. Okay? But if you are filled with love and light, and I brought in the light factor. Spirit said love, okay? Because love brings us into the light. We are bright, shiny ornaments of God's love, the manifestation of the love of God in the earth. We are the light of the world, okay? And it's all about the love. Allow your relationships to be based, rooted and grounded, covered, filled, overflowing with love in whatever you do. I don't care if your job is sweeping the floor or picking up the trash or running the country. Okay? If it's not done in love, we're going to have cause and effect things going on in all of our relationships. Okay? Relationships. How do you react when your significant other does things that disappoint you greatly, discourage you? And the one, of course, that we all face so much is infidelity. Okay? When they venture out, whether it's emotional or physical or mental or just watching porn, getting some supposed gratification or satisfaction from a source other than you. That's the biggest one that I have to deal with every day. How do we respond to those? And it goes for guys and gals. Whatever kind of relationship you're in, it's going to touch the emotions very, very deeply. Very deeply. And there's going to be some cause effect. There's going to be some reaction. Some serious reaction. A comedian said repercussions and consequences. What's the control mechanism for that? Love. It doesn't mean that you roll over and play dead or lay yourself out and become a rug for someone to walk all over. The first part of the love, you go back into self-preservation and you recognize, I am love. Love you. Regardless if the person is acting as though they no longer love you. Because the loving you is what's going to get you through that even. If there has to be a separation. It's the love in you, for you, you reconnect with the source of all love. First of all, lean back. I'm just going to say in the arms of Jesus, because most of us would understand that term. Lean back into that part of your mind that puts you in the presence of the most amazing grace and the most amazing love that will never fail. And then you can walk forward into what remains of that relationship, having the control factor of the true love connection that you have. The love connection that you have within yourself, for yourself. And you might be able to stand up and say, this does not work. This hurt me deeply. I'm not sure how we're going to heal from this. I came in here committed to love you. I still love you, but this behavior is not going to work. Doesn't work for me. You set your boundaries. You say, can't handle this. You don't have to throw the couch across the room or the knife across the room or beat anybody up and say, I can't live like this. You're driving me crazy. Why would you do this to me? But that's mostly what we do. Emotions grab us and shake us up before we even remember that the first love that you have to have before you even entered that relationship should have been love for yourself, a healthy love for you. And the only way you're going to know that one is to establish a healthy relationship with Spirit, with God, with Source, with universal intelligence or energy, recognizing where you come from. You were created from love. And so you are love. The fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. If I'm an apple tree, my seed is going to produce apples. If I'm a love tree, my seeds are always going to produce love. Now, sometimes the apple falls to the ground, gets a worm in it, and Michael Jackson used to say, one bad apple don't spoil the whole bunch. Okay? Sometimes we wind up tossing out what we think is a bad apple. And sometimes the only thing you need to do is cut the worm out. The apple's still good. Relationships, people. Now, I use a lot of metaphors and I use a lot of very natural things because we can relate to the things that we see in nature. But I want us to begin to relate to the things that we see in the nature of who we are. When we allow love to become that basic nature of who we really are, then we have a healthy relationship of love within ourselves. I have a healthy relationship with what I know as God. And it is the most amazing relationship. And it's so amazing that most of the time I don't bother to venture into a whole lot of other stuff because I'm totally satisfied with this one. I remember one day I was in a mood, and it was my prayer time, and I asked God, why am I alone in this? This is difficult. And it was Isaiah. I think I want to say it was Isaiah, maybe chapter 53. But and I took it very literally, but the scripture had to do with I'll just tell you what I remember. It said, expand your tents, strengthen your stakes, go forth, and know that I receive you. You don't have to focus on being a widow. You don't have to focus on the shame of being rejected in your youth. For the Lord your God is your husband. Okay? It really, really said that in that scripture. For the Lord your God is your husband. And I got news for you. In my healthy love relationship with God, I'm good. I am good. And I think it has caused and created a very healthy relationship of love for myself. And I also think that it has prepared me for a very wholesome, healthy relationship with others. And I fully expect that that intimate part of my life in the physical realm here is not over and done with. But my very next, very intimate relationship with a significant other, I'm going to say it the way I'm going to say it, with a man. Okay. Let's get that straight. Will be, oh my, so good for both of us. So relationships are important. Use your control button. When somebody pushes your button, the only thing they're going to get is love, because that's the only thing you've got inside. Sometimes it seems love might need to be a little bit tough, but it doesn't need to be tough for pushing or making another person do something. It needs to be tough in that it establishes your personal boundary. You can go out there and do this, that, and the other. I'm staying right here, and I'm setting my boundaries. And when you get finished doing with that, I'll see if we can help you cut that worm out, and then you can come on back and we can salvage what we can salvage. Because I'm comfortable in who I am. I've got the control button. What you're going to get here is love and light. If you want to go play with everything else, then you go right ahead. I will set my boundaries and be healthy and happy. That's my choices. That's the buttons you get to push. When someone is really, really coming at you with something, if you want to diffuse that situation, let love come up inside of you and say, how can I help you with that today? You may totally disagree with everything they're saying, but look at the background. Look at the whole picture and look at it with love. So they're charging at you and they're giving you slander and they're giving you, I don't know, profanity, whatever it is. And your response is there something I can do to help you with that today?